Good afternoon, keepers of the cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here, and I'm here with Savage Saturday Comic Review 36. And this week we are reviewing Red Sonja, Black, White, and Red, issue number 2. Now I did do a review on number 1, so I'll probably do this whole series just because it's fun and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And it's fun to talk about things you're enjoying. As with the first issue, 3 different stories in this, all different creative teams. Some hits, some misses, mostly hits. The misses are slight and don't detract too much from what the book is, but we'll go through. And so the A cover, which is my favorite cover, an absolute gorgeous piece of art by one of my favorite artists working today, and that's of course Lucio Parrillo. Just amazing. Hey, there's just nothing wrong with that cover. It's beautiful. And then of course I've got cover C, which is the David Nakayama cover, also a beautiful cover. But man, just my own personal taste, I'm really partial to Parrillo and his art style. It's just amazing to me. But let's get into the stories. So story number 1 is about the return of some Lemurians. All right, and it's Prolium Finalis by John Boy Myers, who did the writing and the art and colors, and it's a well done job. This is a simple story. Sonja is queen, and she is holding off an attack on her people and her kingdom. And she's leading the way. She's leading the charge. And the Lemurians are there to overthrow man. And this is great. And this is really emphasizing the strength and power of Sonja just as a force unto herself. She's very responsible for the people that she's the charge of. And he writes Sonja really well. He writes her very much in character. The story's rather one note and simple. It's just her in the midst of battle, fighting and being fierce. And you'll see the pictures I'm posting over there. And just how Sonja, like Conan, is just an unstoppable force when she's going. And she is not afraid to die. And no matter what, she's going to lead and set the example for the people that are going to follow her in the battle. If they're going to fight for themselves and their world and their way of life, Sonja's going to do no less, but she is going to do more. She's going to lead that charge, and she is going to be the force that is at the head of it, to lead, to be the example, and to let her people know that she's willing to die for them and fight for them and defend them. And that's where the story succeeds. Just Sonja being fierce, and the one page that is great with just her is I am the she-devil with a sword. She screams it out, and she is in battle, fighting to the last, almost defeated. At the end of the story, she's going to die, but she knows that she will live again. She just knows that as long as there's a fight to be had, people to defend, that she will be there to lead that battle. And that's Sonja at her core. Someone who didn't have a defense and wasn't defended when she was young and ended up in the circumstances she's in because of it, knows that she has a sense of duty to be there for others who don't have that, like she didn't have it. But she's going to be that for them so they don't suffer the way she did. And John Boy Myers did a great job. I'll give the story and the art both a B+. I don't think either one were A+. John Boy Myers, I know, is a great artist, which people love, and I think the art is great in this. We'll give the art A. I think the story is good, if only one note, but it's hard to judge these stories for being one note when they're only 5 to 7 pages a piece. You don't have a lot of time to develop a big story and lead it in. So for what it is, we'll give the story a B+. and we'll give the art an A. The story gets the B plus though, just on the strength of highlighting this one characteristic of Sonya, of her selflessness to give herself and be the example for others. And that's what really spoke to me in this story, and that's why I thoroughly enjoyed it. The next story it's called Edible, and it's by a team called Parker and Nurgat. And the story itself works really well for me. It's a little bit different. Sonya is traveling and comes upon this village, and these people are pleading with her. They just settled there. They've only been there a few weeks. A few people have gone missing, and now their daughter wandered off, and their daughter's missing. And Sonya just says, "Look, take care of my horse while I'm gone, and I'll go find your daughter." And she goes into this forest, and it's a patch of forest that's alive and it's growing, and it absorbs everything that goes into it. It makes it part of itself, and it wants to eat Sonya and make her part of it as it eats everything else. There's carcasses all over the place. They've been absorbed by it. It's like a forest of giant mushrooms and other vegetation. And Sonya, in her own way, figures a way out. She saves a little girl, and the story is fun. It's Sonya being smart, Sonya being savage, and Sonya again highlighting that she cares about something more than herself. And if someone's in peril, she's going to help, especially if it's an innocent that can't defend themselves. And the art, though, there's nothing wrong with the art. I mean, it's good art. It just doesn't speak to me as Red Sonya art. But that's personal preference. The art's clean. You can always tell what's going on. We'll give the art a B plus also in this issue. We'll give the story a B plus as well. Again, one note story because it only has a few pages to tell it. And that might be the weakness of this format. Although the strength of the format is seeing different voices take on Red Sonya and offer a little glimpse of how they view the character. And that's been immense fun. But overall, Sonya saves the day. She makes a new friend and a little girl, returns it to the family. We get a good, happy ending, and we get a Sonya, again, that cares for others besides herself. And then we get to the third story and final story. And that story is, called, wow, I'm sorry, guys. Are you listening? No, I'm sorry. It's called Listen Close. All right, écoutez-moi. Listen close in French, right? Écoutez-moi. All right, so listen close. And the art in this one I really enjoyed. And the art was David F. Walker, and I believe the inks were by Will Robson. And I thought the art in this one was the best art in the book. The Red Sonya face I thought was a touch too cutesy, but the story and the art in this last segment were my favorite. The only thing I didn't like was the very beginning where it states, "Red Sonya pledged allegiance to neither kingdom nor ruler, serving instead only those that could afford the price of her blade." And that's not accurate at all. As was highlighted in the first two stories, and has always been a part of the Red Sonya character. She's about a cause greater than herself. Is she a mercenary as well? Yes. Like Conan, they're many things, but at their cores, they're good people. They're strong people, and they defend those who can't defend themselves. They won't ignore someone in peril, to their detriment at times. They will not ignore it. They will heed the call. And this story kind of ignored that, and that's the thing that bothered me about it. The rest of it I thought was good. And this story was about highlighting the legend that's Red Sonya and how the world came to view her, and how enemies didn't fear her, then feared her, and just how she became something greater than herself. And it tells the tale through her going out on this quest that she's hired by a king to go save these women that have been kidnapped. Many warriors have gone to save these women. None of them have returned. And Sonya heads out in the quest with the promise of a pouch full of gold and riches. You already know the King's slimy. He's drawn that way. You know there's a double cross coming. Sonya's not dumb. She knows there's a double cross coming, but she can handle that. But when she gets there, she runs into all these stone statues of all these guys that have been there before. So you know she's fighting a Gorgon. The thing about this Gorgon is, though, her gaze doesn't work on women. And Sonya confronts her, and this was the clever thing about this story, which I really liked, is the Gorgon and Sonya come to an understanding because the Gorgon lets Sonya know these women aren't here because I'm holding them here. They're here by choice for me to protect them. This Gorgon is doing something that Sonya understands. She's protecting innocence. She's protecting these women that are being preyed upon by these rulers and high aristocrats and other just sleazy people in the world. And Sonya can side with that. So Sonya shows up with the girls, with the king. The king goes, great, they'll fetch a high price in the market. I can sell them all, and you'll get an even better price, thinking that he's got the upper hand on Sonya. This guy that is so big he can't even get out of his own way. Only to be fooled by Sonya as the Gorgon presents herself from behind Sonya, and the king is turned to stone, and Sonya turns the kingdom over to the Gorgon and the women. So they have a new place to live and a new place that's a haven for these people that have been preyed upon by others in higher positions with more power. And that ended up being a really good thing in the story for me. I really enjoyed it. So again, another solid Red Sonya, Black, White, and Red. You're getting something different with each story. Each one tends to highlight a different aspect of Red Sonya, which is fun because they're bite-sized. So again, the bite-sized segments, they have their limits in storytelling, but they also have their strengths where you can focus on one characteristic and draw it out of Sonya. Overall, we'll give this comic an A, we'll give the art an A, and we'll call it an issue well done. Until next time, keep it casual.